Our last presenter is one of our national partners who has been steadfast in helping us elevate privatization as a civil rights issue. Want to call up Ms. Jadine Johnson from the Advancement Project.
Yeah.
My name is Jadine Johnson. I am a lawyer with the Advancement Project. We are a national civil rights organization based in Washington, D.C. And we're here today standing with Journey for Justice and its members to stand up against the privatization and proliferation of destruction in the African American and Latino communities across the country. The data proves that the Black and brown communities have borne a disproportionate burden of the destroying of neighborhood public schools. In a place like Chicago, where African American students are 40%, roughly 40% of the school population, but have borne 80% of the school closures in Chicago, that data is clear. In a place like New Orleans, where the last round of school closures impacted 1,000 students, only 5 of those students were white. That data is clear. Neighborhood schools are critical institutions in these communities, and we stand today with Journey for Justice and its members to say no more, not one more school. In May of this year, May 2014, we filed 3 Title VI complaints on behalf of Journey for Justice in Newark, New Jersey, New Orleans, and Chicago. And we're pleased to say that the U.S. Department of Education has opened for investigation all of those Title VI complaints. However, as my previous speakers have said, we recognize that this is being driven from the top. Yeah. And it is the federal policy that needs to change, coupled with the introduction of accountability for the private foundations and companies that are benefiting off of our children's backs. And so we would urge the Department of Education not just to fully investigate these complaints, but to also to change its policies and to institute sustainable school transformation. Thank you.
I just wanted one last speaker to speak on behalf of the Chicago Teachers Union before we take questions from the press. As you can hear from around the nation, people have decided that education is a fundamental right that every child deserves, a high-quality public education. And so today we gather to make sure that we can put together a comprehensive plan that we're going to recommend to those who are now running for the United States Congress and for the U.S. Senate. We expect in the next legislative sessions that they will be dealing with the public policy recommendations that we have to change the face and course of education to protect education for Black and brown children, Native American children in particular, but all children. And we want to move against all of these segregated school policies that segregate our children by race and class so that every child does not have the benefit of the resources that every other child has. And I want Brandon Johnson to come now and speak on behalf of the Chicago Teachers Union. We will take questions from the press.
Thank you, Reverend Wilson. Thank you, Operation Push, and to Journeys for Justice. As a proud teacher in this city, it does my heart well to see the faces that are standing alongside me today. That when you think about the historical relevance of public accommodations and what Black folks did to ensure that public accommodations were made true, and how that fight a generation ago made the entire world better. And the very people who stand to resist this type of movement are those that benefit financially from the misery that they've caused.
Yes.
And the attack on public education is very much an attack on Black labor.
Yeah, that's right.
The destruction of neighborhood schools that have caused the economic security within these communities to be harmed is something that Journeys for Justice, Chicago Teachers Union, and of course Operation Push, we see as an incredible part of our effort moving forward. And so as a proud teacher, as a Black man, as a parent, standing with these families reminds me of what's possible. And so as our dear sister said, back up, not only are we going to say back up, we're going to say make room for justice.
That's right.
So we look forward to this effort as we move forward to build a national movement to not only hold the president accountable, but to hold every single elected official across this country accountable to the work that's being done against the interests of black and brown families.
That's right.
So we look forward to this fight.